will talk about what Busan has been pursuing. Busan prepares the basic plan for maritime industry in accordance with its ordinance. And Busan is developing itself as a maritime capital, and so I will talk about this Busan version of New Deal project that is pursued by Busan City. I have 4 things to tell you today. First is condition of maritime business in Busan, and the second point is direction of Busan's New Deal projects, and the third point is major New Deal projects in the maritime sector. We have lots of experts from various cities, so lastly I will talk about how we can cooperate with each other. Every 2 years, a Norwegian consulting company, Minong, evaluates maritime cities, and Busan is the only Korean city that is included in this consulting report. 2 years ago, Busan ranked 13th, and last year, in 2019, it ranked 10th. But if you look at the more detailed categories, like for the technologies and the ports and logistics, Busan is in the upper ranks. But for about shipping centers and finance and laws and future leading maritime city and attractiveness and competitiveness, Busan is not that attractive. It's below the 10th rank. In order for Busan to be able to compete with other maritime cities, it should be differentiated. And rather than just focusing on ports and logistics, it has to find a new portfolio that it can use to compete with global maritime cities. This slide shows the summary of the basic plan to nurture a maritime industry. So we have 3 categories: the maritime industry, infrastructure, and the functions. For the infrastructure, we have world-class port facilities, like we have Busan New Port, and we have the plan to expand the port. So in terms of infrastructure or efficiency of the port policies, Korea maintains to be the number 6 in the world in terms of container volume, and also has the marine products export and import facilities. And for the maritime industry, it has the largest number of maritime companies in Korea, and shipbuilding and maritime equipment cluster is in Busan. But if you look into more details within large companies that are related to the maritime industry, except for unloading companies, all the large companies involved in maritime industries are located in the Seoul metropolitan city region. For about the central function, what we can say is that Korea is world's number 2 transshipment port after Singapore. That is the only thing that we can mention, and other than that, we are not that strong. But fortunately, the government has this plan to relocate the maritime industry related to maritime institutes and government agencies to the Busan. And I think so Busan is like most concentrated city with the research institutes and universities that are centering on maritime matters. So it has the good infrastructure, but the maritime industry and the functions are not as good as the infrastructure itself. So it has to develop a plan to further improve such areas to develop further Korea's maritime industry. And this is about the direction of the Busan version of New Deal. We have our own research and evaluation along with the consulting reports. The port has developed autonomously. So because of that, it lacks the momentum to make another leap forward. So in overall, the fishery and shipping and port logistics and shipbuilding and other traditional maritime industries are declining and producing lower values. So they have to be digitalized and also be incorporated with new technologies in the fourth IR industry, fourth IR. And as I told you earlier, we have to utilize the R&D and R&D institutions and universities related to maritime matters to do more study on the high-tech advanced technologies in maritime industry. Busan should play a central role in combining the R&D center with the universities in terms of advanced technologies in maritime industry. First thing I'd like to talk about is we have to foster green marine new industry. One of the advantages of Busan is that it has world-class R&D centers of Korea. Maybe we can advance shipbuilding and maritime equipment industry by nurturing green ship repair centers. And we can also converge LNG bunkering terminals and port hydrogen terminals. So using these LNG bunkering terminals, we should advance such terminals to hydrogen terminals as well. We can utilize the existing facilities to make it more green. So we had a plan to build bunkering terminals or the upgrading the terminals. And the plan was made actually 15 years ago, but it has never been implemented yet. So I feel very sorry about that. So I want the government to push ahead with the plan more strongly. Next point is building smart logistics hub in Northeast Asia. So we have to change from the transshipment hub to smart logistics hub. As Mr. Choi mentioned, we can think of many ways, including cross-border e-commerce centers. So we have to make some logistics R&D cluster. We can also cooperate with neighboring areas to build international city, free economic city logistics hub. So the Gangsa area should just break away from being just the transshipment hub to become smart logistics hub in Northeast Asia. Last but not least, as I told you earlier, we have to strengthen the key function of the maritime industry. So Busan was designated finance center, and it also designated regulation-free zone for blockchain industry. And LNG bunkering can be linked to maritime finance. Then we can develop maritime finance to the level of Singapore. And I'd like to propose ways to cooperate with other cities. If you look at the left side, China seeks to make another leap forward by designating maritime economic special zone. So all the coastal areas of the country is linked as the maritime economic special zone. So centering on marine industry, China plans to become one of the economic economically strong countries in the world. So Korea has similar plan, starting from Incheon to the Gangwon area. Korea is surrounded by the seas. Its three sides are surrounded by the sea. So we can build this kind of belt. So if this economic belt can be linked to the China's maritime economic special zone, then I believe we can be one of the strongest marine powers in the world. Thank you.